This is not a kind of video that I do ever, honestly, but I didn't see anybody else doing this one. So we're gonna break down some of the social things that are surrounding the announcement for the Super Mario Bros. Animated movie voice casting. We're gonna unpack something a little bit differently for this one real quick. How's it going, everybody? Jeremy here from the Quartering. Okay, no. my beard is not nearly that epic, though I do have to start it that way because I'm honestly surprised the Quartering hasn't covered this yet. Lord knows Bounding Into Comics was all over this, but John Leguizamo, who was, if you'll remember, in the only other Mario Brothers movie that means anything, was Luigi Mario, because that was a thing. John Leguizamo playing Luigi, now apparently he thinks he is the be-all, end-all voice of how to make a Mario movie in Hollywood these days. He tweeted the following. So glad hashtag Super Mario Bros. Is getting a reboot. Obviously, it's iconic enough. Love the spelling there, John. But too bad they went all white. No Latinx in the leads. Groundbreaking colorblind casting in the original. Plus, I'm the only one who knows how to make this movie work script-wise. Well, that's a little presumptuous on so many levels. Let's get into this a little deeper. All right, so obviously it's iconic enough. We'll skip the spelling error because he's just trying to save space. Too bad they went all white. Well, I would say it's too bad they went all with face actors. There's one voice actor in the lot of them, and honestly, that one voice actor has done on-screen work as well. He's primarily a voice actor, but he was in a little-known TV series called Homeboys from Outer Space. He's done other things on screen before. That's just the first thing that my brain remembers him as. He's done a bunch more voice work than he has screen work, but still, the voice I'm talking about is Kevin Michael Richardson. So yeah, that's very interesting because presumably they gave us all of the leads, right? So Kevin Michael Richardson is not a white man. Also, the Latinx comment. There's two things we have to unpack for the Latinx comment. First and foremost, I went through as many of the comments on the tweet that Leguizamo posted as I could before I just couldn't stop myself from laughing, and that's because almost all of them, any of them that mentioned the Latinx thing, were definitely giving Leguizamo grief about his use of the term Latinx. I love John Leguizamo. Please do not get this twisted in any way. I actually interviewed the man. He is definitely somebody I look up to in the industry in a lot of ways. We vary dramatically, politically speaking, but I still have nothing but respect for the man. He is a great actor. I really don't care that he's Hispanic and he or Latinx as he prefers to be called, and he played an Italian plumber in a movie. I brought it up in the interview as a joke and he thought it was funny as well, so it is what it is. But I just think it's hilarious that honestly 90% of the comments on his tweet were about how people prefer to be referred to as Latino or Latina, and Latinx is almost more racist because it makes him sound like a rich white woman. That is almost nearly an exact quote. I obviously am not looking at any of the tweets immediately. The only tweet I have in front of me is Leguizamo's tweet, but yeah, I couldn't read another 50 comments on the Latinx thing. So there's that. But also, why do they have to be Latin leads? It's a voice. So who cares what color the lead is? But also, Anya Taylor-Joy, I believe that's the actress I'm thinking of. Yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy is Argentinian. She's from Argentina, grew up in Miami, speaks fluent Spanish. So she's Latina. You could make the argument at the very least. I know she's bleach white, probably whiter than I am, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because if you look at Spanish folk from Spain, a lot of them are blonde-haired and blue eyes and much fairer than me. So I feel like Leguizamo is not paying attention. Again, I really, really love the guy. I'm really not trying to throw too much shade, but wow, that was intense. Oh, and there is one more thing about this that I thought was very funny about the Leguizamo bit. Leguizamo, again, pretty fair complected as far as Latino, Latinx, whatever vocabulary he prefers to be referred to as. He is pretty fair skinned when it comes to people of that ilk. Do you think he would have been cast as Luigi Mario in that movie if he had a complexion more along the lines of, say, Luis Guzman? If he looked more Latino or Latinx or whatever, if he looked more Hispanic, would he have gotten that part to begin with? I would venture to say no. I don't know that because I'm not a casting director. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll talk to you again real soon. Okay, sorry. Done with the quartering references. Appreciate you, Jeremy. Sometimes you're a little bit much, kind of a handful, but I still appreciate you, sir. Anyway, so thank you very much, nerds. Again, not necessarily something I do a whole lot of with the social element. We don't talk about politics, social or otherwise, because that is not entertainment, which is what we are here to talk about. Pop culture, entertainment, nerdy things that keep us happy and away from the headache of the yeah, whatever. Well, we're gonna bring this to an end. I appreciate you, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me. Join me over on youtube.com/generalnerdy for the full episode that this comes from. There's other places you can find me too. Look for me on the socials, do all the things. Thank you very much, nerds. Before we go, always remember that if it's General Nerdy, it's probably here, and we try and keep things reasonable.